Welcome back to Tarot by the Bay. I'm David. George Santos. I had somebody asking about George Santos the other day. And on a reading I just did involving House Ethics Committees and Marjorie Taylor Greene, that reminded me that, oh, yeah, that's right, George Santos is under that same ethical committee investigation. I was curious to see how that was going. In looking at the news, I'm not seeing anything about the ethical committee and their decisions and when they're going to render a decision. But I did find some other information. Apparently, a few days ago, his bail was made less restrictive so that he can wander around Washington, D.C., do some shopping, go out to dinner, stuff like that. And there was polling done by the Democrats about censuring him, basically, in the House, which would seem a minimum appropriate thing to do. And a number of Republicans said they would support that, including like 6 members of the House who are Republicans in New York. Now, I know that the Republicans in New York are livid with George Santos because the stain, from their point of view, it's a stain on their ability to legislate because this guy's an absolute clown. And they don't want to be associated with him, and I don't blame them. You know, say what you will. That's at least the right moral and ethical decision to make, and they don't care that it might cost them 1 vote in the House, because to them they don't want to be associated with this guy. But at the same time, they also realize there's probably nothing they can do with George Santos. He's just going to have to be voted out of office next year. That's the way things are shaping up. Lastly, prosecutors said they turned over 80,000 pages of material to Santos's lawyers in his fraud and money laundering cases against him. And that's next court date is September 7th. So this is going to be a George Santos extravaganza, purely for entertainment purposes only, because George Santos is purely for entertainment purposes only. All right, Ethics Committee, you're up. Are you doing anything with Santos? Okay, we upside down, we're upside down. Okay. Fighting the good fight, battling off things. Here's the fight. Is this Santos or is this the Ethics Committee? Versus the Ace of Swords. Okay, so this is Santos trying to battle off all these charges. You know, he's got federal charges against him. He's got ethical charges. He's been lying, got in there, and he's fighting all these things off, but he's crossed with the sword of justice. You know, there's a lot going on. Yeah, you can fight off these political things, but the criminal things are a different beast altogether. Yeah, your stick's effective against other sticks. Against cold, hard steel, that's another thing altogether, my friend. Knight of Wands in the past. Okay, so the Ethics Committee, this George Santos censorship, maybe removal from the House, was sent to the Ethics Committee. And they have been making slow progress on this to the point where they asked for more time so they could do a more thorough evaluation of George Santos and everything that's going on around him. Now, I think I speak for myself and many others that we are extremely cynical of this. Because what we've seen with politics over the last 6 or 7 years, it just doesn't seem like there's any accountability for lousy, rotten behavior by outrageous members of the House. Apparently, you can censure Adam Schiff for following up and impeaching Donald Trump on verifiable charges, but holding known liar George Santos to any account appears to be a bridge too far so far. So forgive us for our cynicism here. But the cards keep showing me they do something. So let's see if we're still on point with that. Current situation is the walking away. Does that mean that they're walking away from it, or they're looking at having Santos resign his position and leave? That's going to be an interesting conclusion on this one. Overarching is the Four of Pentacles. It's holding on to power, holding on to things of value. Is this the house panel with information? Or is this Santos? What do we have underneath? We have endings. This might be about Santos. Okay, so let's look at this. If this is Santos, he's fighting things off, but he's facing the sword of justice. He's had a plan, and he got his plan to get elected, but now they're telling him that they don't want him in there anymore. They want him to leave. He's trying to hold on to his position, hold on to his money, his fame. I'm back to another one of the articles that I didn't read, was just basically saying that Santos is in for the fame of it. He's not in for anything else. And another article was saying that he hasn't really put forward any legislations to help his constituents. So this is a reading on Santos. And there's the money. He wants the money. He wants the legacy. He wants the fame. This is everything that Santos wants. And the Queen of Wands, ideas of what he's going to do next once he has those things. But I think with the committee that we've got going on here, is that this is going to bring an end to his career. He's at best, a one-term member of the House. Okay, so again, Spirit didn't really answer my question about what the House Ethics Committee is doing. It's giving me the general read on George Santos and where he is right now. No. And it does that to me every once in a while. And I thank Lena, Dr. Lena Rodriguez, for pointing that out a couple of times in the last week with her videos, because I run into that too. And it makes it seem like I'm cherry picking. Oh, you asked about that, then you changed it midstream to that because it fit my narrative. No, it fit the narrative of the cards. And it's up to me to try and figure out if they're answering my question or if they're taking me somewhere else. So what they're setting me up for is basically George Santos is being asked to leave. He might be being asked to leave by McCarthy at this point. I can't picture it, but there's people telling him he needs to leave. And he's trying desperately to hang on to his position there because he doesn't want to leave the money. He doesn't want to leave the fame. He doesn't want to leave the influence. But in the end of the day, his actions, all the lying that he did, these federal charges that the 5 of Wands just popped up, the Argy-Bargy card, all the fighting, and then the 5 of Swords just came up, all these 5s. He's causing chaos. He's narcissistic. He thinks he can escape through all this. Right now, he's kind of smug. Despite his position, he doesn't feel like he's touchable. Dude's not right in the head. Okay, back to the Ethics Committee. Ethics Committee, what are you doing? Are we going to get an answer on this one this time? Spirit, or am I going to get something else? Ethics Committee, what are you looking at? Fool, new journey, foolish behavior. You first start off, your first 2 steps are right off the cliff. Offers that you don't like. Contemplation on behaviors. More information coming out that just isn't good for this foolish person. Underneath it, there's the wealth card again. The wealth and the legacy. In the past, we've got the 9 of Wands, the weariness, the battling, and everything along those lines. I think we're getting another George Santos reading as to what happens with George Santos after he's out of the house. With it, let's see. Battling. Secrets are revealed. Mature decisions need to be made. Not immature emotional ones, but mature ones. Send them on a new journey with a new message. Decisions need to be made. Legacy. Okay, so I'm gonna put this right back. This is telling me what I want to know about the house. Santos's, or the committee on ethics. Santos's behavior has been foolish, and there's a lot of data showing the things that he's been doing wrong. Very embattled, and the ethics committee, they're tired. Now they just there's so much stuff they have to go through with this guy. And as they dig, they find out his secrets. And his secrets are being revealed. And now they have to, they're supposed to be the emotionally neutral ones. I'd rather sing a King of Swords over here than a King of Cups. But they're trying to not get caught up in the drama and look at the data with it, but they have to make a decision. I think they're going to try and come up with a creative solution to their problem. They're going to propose something with Santos, maybe asking him to leave, because the Page of Wands is about traveling. It's about movement and moving on. They might make recommendations that he be removed from the Senate from the House. But there's a real decision. There's a real crossroads here, because maybe they talk to McCarthy and tell McCarthy that this guy needs to go. I don't know if the committee's decisions are binding. I suspect they aren't. And that's where this comes through. They have their decision, but then a decision needs to be made on that one. And what's underlying it all is the money. The money is against George Santos because of all the fraud that's been committed, but the money is also working for him because this is what's keeping McCarthy in power. So I'm going to bring you on down here. Let's just throw some clarifiers on the outcome card here. What are the challenges with this? Coming forward with something of value, all the fighting and bickering and arguing, and then him leaving. Okay, so underneath it all, they know whatever recommendation they give, there's going to be all sorts of arguing and fighting and positioning over it. I think that Santos wants to make some type of peace offering or compromise. And this could be the censorship. Okay, we'll just be censored. But I think the other alternative is for him to go. So that's the choices that need to be made. Have him leave, but we can't have him leave because he's too valuable for the Republicans. So there's all sorts of arguing about this. How does it turn out? Illusion and delusion. I think in the end of the day that the Republicans won't ask him to leave. They'll win out because they have the majority here. So expect a vote on party lines that he is at worst censured, and at best nothing happens to him from that. I don't think he's going to be told to leave. He should be. By all ethical standards, he should be required to go. The Republicans aren't there. They don't have the numbers. I'm sure that if they had a 25 or 30 member lead over the Democrats, we can lose one guy. He's a liability. But they're too close and McCarthy won't give him up. Such is the state of American politics. What's going to happen on September 7th? On the next court date with George Santos, what's going to happen with those fraud and money laundering, the money laundering case against George Santos? That's a problem with the criminal justice system. It moves too slow so that they can't, solve the politicians' problems for them. What's going to happen on this next court date? Okay. Star. No, that's interesting. Witnesses? Star? What's up with that? Next stages. Okay. Probably going to focus on the stuff that he did and what the next steps are in this court case. God, the justice moves so slow. Court cases move so slow. In the past, we've got the Six of Swords moving out of troubled waters to calmer waters. There was a whole lot of energy and fighting when these charges were first brought up, but things seem to have calmed down. The media storm on Santos has subsided for now. current situation, though, for Santos, this is a nightmare. His reality is being shattered by this as much as he doesn't want it to be shattered by this, because he's created his own reality, kind of like Trump does. Five of Swords. This is kind of a winner takes all. He doesn't think he's touchable, yet he's stressing out over it because he's untouchable, but he's stressing out over it. So this is him creating his own reality. In his own reality, he's a star, and he calls the shots. But at the same time, though he's in his own reality, he's facing the Justice Department, and the Justice Department doesn't play in your reality. They play in their own reality. Might have a male judge here. King of Cups. This King of Cups came up before with that ethics committee there. Sitting on it. Emotionally mature person. George is not the emotionally mature person. He's the emotionally immature person on this one, which could be that as well. But I think the judge is overlooking this. And outcome is the Nine of Cups. Government, and there'll be appeals, I think, with the case. There might be some more appeals that are coming on. There's some more judicial things coming on with this. But this is about his delusions and delusions. So yeah, the star card, this is George Santos being a star in his own mind and preparing already what he's going to be doing next. But, he's got to deal with this court case right now. And he has to deal with the U.S. government on this one. And no amount of craziness on his part is going to help him with that. Okay, so the question I should have asked and didn't is, will George Santos be convicted on these charges, on some or all of these charges? Okay. We should all get to live in our own fantasy world, huh? Where the laws don't apply to us and we can do whatever we want. It's really interesting how pathological liars and narcissists like that can just skate right through there. Just steamroll everybody in their path. And they never seem to be held accountable for it. Maybe the rest of us have all been living our lives wrong. Yeah. No. But again, there doesn't seem to be anything that ever holds them to account. How will this... Well, maybe there will be. Maybe this court case will hold them to account. How will this court case turn out? Will George Santos be convicted on some, if not all, the charges? What do we got? What do we got? What do we got? What do we got? Stealing. George was stealing. Judgment. Okay, that's good. He's not going to get away with it. He's being judged for it. He's going to be judged about what he stole. All the lies, all the things that he did wrong, he's going to be judged on it. It'll happen after he's out of Congress, I'm guessing. This is the, so long, you're no longer in Congress, bye-bye. Here's the justice is here in the here and now. Again, this is will he be convicted? So it's like conviction time. This is explaining what happened. He's no longer in Congress. He's in the government's crosshairs, and the government's going to be dictating to him. Basically, he's going to prison. And there's your prison card. How long is he going to be going to prison? Maybe a lot longer than he's thinking. This guy's looking really nervous, and there's a lot of wands behind him there. Fighting the charges, appealing, trying to minimize your sentence is what his actions... Basically, he's going to be found guilty, and now his next battle is to try and minimize his sentence, which would be typical for any defendant, right? But the outcome, he fails, and it's even worse than he thought. His fighting it actually made it worse. Oh, he'll be the belle of the ball in the prison system. His star has fallen. Okay, so My guess is that when he's out of Congress and nobody cares about him anymore, he's a fallen star, that's when he's going to be held to account, and he will get a somewhat stiff prison sentence, probably more than, basically the prosecutors will ask for a pretty stiff sentence and they will get it. Maybe even something more than what they're asking for, but expect, like, if the prosecutors felt he should get 30 months of prison and Santos's lawyers want no probation, he's going to get 30 months. He might get 36 months or something along those lines. Because maybe something that he says during his request for a reduced sentence or something like that shows that he's taken no ownership, no accountability for his actions, and the judge takes that into account during their sentencing of him. Santos is going down. He's going to go to prison. He's not going to go to prison until after 2024 election. So I think we're going to be stuck with this guy for a while. He will go away. He will be held to account, but nothing that's going to help the Democrats in the short term. And he won't get reelected. So, sorry, I'd like to tell you that he's leaving sooner. I don't think he is. Thank you for watching. Thank you for supporting my channel. Thank you for all your likes and comments and all the YouTube-y stuff that you do to help my video get out there and for my message to get to other people who may need to hear it. Thanks a lot. I'll catch you on the next one. Take care.